What's up, everyone?
Hey,
Hometown weekend. Allie, as usual. Allie, how we feeling after last night's episode?
last night's episode was good. I've got like my recap up. I'm like, all right, what happened? What went
Yeah.
down to? It was good. I think it was revealing. It says a lot about like Matt kind of and
hmm
where his head's at, but also where Rachel's head was at when it hit the ground.
Yeah. Yo, I since you brought that up, if a female ever said that's what we're doing today on a date, I'm out. You're not getting a rose. I'm having a conversation with you. We're probably not meant for each other. Maybe you're a daredevil.
Yes.
I am not. So no, we're out. Done.
Literally that should have been Matt's like first red flag is that she wants to throw him out of a plane.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the whole time when they're up there, he's like, "Are you scared?" She's like, "Not at all. Are you?" And like you could tell, he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I would be too. Like, how are you not scared?" I
And they
was
showed him
scared.
falling out. I was like, oh my God, like he is hating this. And then all of a sudden he's like, okay.
Yeah, but I was like scared when they were doing that. I was like, "Fuck, this is freaky." I'm not even the one doing it, but fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah,
But
I would never.
yes. So hometown, obviously, this is way different because of COVID. They just kind of like the girls set up a date and then they met their families after. So let's start with Michelle. She's a teacher, so she took
Oh yeah, I
him.
thought that was sweet.
Yeah, no, I thought it like it's tough. I think like to do a hometown date, obviously, because like there's only so much you can do, and
Yeah,
I thought like I think that this episode like Michelle's like kind of like not kind of she is probably top three if not one like real people on the show. Like she
yeah,
is very nice. She seems very funny. She seems very outgoing. She seems just like a real person to like hang out with. And like I think you saw that. Like she's a teacher. Like she's not, she's not an Instagram model to want to be. She's not doing any of that. Like she's just a teacher. You could tell her kids loved her, which like they're
yeah.
kids. You could tell if they hate her or not. Like they loved her. So like I thought that was good. What do you think? What do you think about the whole day?
I thought so too. And I liked the scene with her. She had her like kids on that little Zoom
Yeah.
call. That was cute. That kind of like warmed my heart. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like so real. And then they did like their little bike ride and her parents was it her parents? Oh yeah, her parents seemed nice.
Yeah,
They seemed
they
like
seem
people.
they seem like cool people. Like they seem like obviously the dad was a little protective, which like I get coming into this. Like you have to be. Plus, it's not like the real hometown, so I feel like they like you kind of like just meet and then you have to have those conversations. So it's kind of just like I don't
Yeah,
really get to know you at all, so I kind of have to ask more questions than necessarily I would. But
right.
I thought her parents were cool too. Like I thought the whole day was like pretty well put together.
I thought so too. I thought he was really gonna like that. I hope he did.
Yeah, yeah, and I gotta say, honestly, answering those questions from those little kids is might be more tough than like answering a dad's questions because like those kids were like grilling them,
Seriously.
and you have to like watch what you say, like everything like that. But they were like, "So, are you gonna marry her?" And it's like, "What do
Yeah.
I?" Like
He's
that's
like,
tough.
I'll let you know if I when I know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that was tough. I was like, "Damn, okay." Like look at that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I thought that was a very wholesome date kind of thing. It wasn't like, one of this Instagram picture date kind of things that they do.
Yeah.
Moving on, Rachel, like we just noted too, she had the skydiving date or whatever. She pulled
Yes.
up in that car like sick.
I
Like,
know. Then she had the red thing over his eyes. Like so many people made tweets about that, how that should have been the
oh,
red flag.
yeah, well, a lot of people had like the Get Out memes,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like I've seen this movie before, and like, so like yeah, that was pretty rough. And then obviously it was rough because she fell, but also like I don't know, I'm not a female. Like, can you really cover up bruises that easily? Like, because when she was talking to her mom, she was like, "I have so many bruises," and it's like you look completely okay.
They probably put yeah, I mean you can with the right foundation. They probably did.
But wouldn't we be able to see it when they were talking right after? Or do you think they stopped and then put makeup on her and then they talked? Like,
Maybe they yeah, or like I feel like there would have been like some sort of cuts, but I didn't even see
yeah,
that.
she only had like a little bit of a bloody nose. You could see that like right away. That's it. But like
Yeah,
it did look like it fucking hurt.
smack down on that
Yeah,
ground. Oh my
yeah, that looked like
gosh.
that killed. Um I thought her mom was cool. Her dad was like the typical dad that like you show up to prom and like he would pull his gun out. Like that kind of like
Yeah.
weird,
I was
annoying
surprised though because he looked like he was like, I don't
Indian.
know. Yes, he
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
white like I thought.
I totally agree. I thought he was like Native American. He looked like Native American, but yeah, he was just kind of like, like he was asking those questions. Like I feel like we keep going back and on this is like, people are like, dude, you're on The Bachelor. Like, what do you expect? Like he kept grilling questions. Like you are dating four other women. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, a few weeks ago I was dating 30 other women.
yeah,
So like,
yeah. This is an improvement.
yeah, exactly. So like it was just kind of like one of those like, dude, come on, like you're just
Yeah,
trying to be the tough dad, but like your daughter signed up for this show, so
right. Right.
um,
Like, they all had to have known, like, she went through all the process of, like, getting on the show, like,
right.
this isn't a newsflash thing, like
Well, it's not like like you didn't tell your parents you were coming on this, and then boom, they saw you on TV one day and it's live. Like, no, this is filmed. They go home and then it's aired.
yeah,
You go through a super long process to get picked. You have to quarantine, especially this year. So like they know you're there. Like it's like, dude,
yes,
come on. You know what The Bachelor is.
yeah. And maybe they just have to say that just on TV, they have to explain
Yeah, right.
things, but
Yeah. I gotta say though, like I don't know how like I feel like this hometowns because it seemed like it was almost like one day was one, the next day was the next, the next day was the next, the next day was the next because they weren't flying to different places. Like, dude,
yeah.
I mean, by the fourth one of talking to a dad, I would have been like, dude, get this fucking is terrible.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. I'd be like, "Please, can you space it out?"
yeah, like I need like 2 to 3 days to recover just because I don't want to talk to another fucking dad grilling me, asking me these questions that
Yes.
like Matt,
Or
like
even, like, mom, like, wasn't somebody's mom talking to who was it? Bree. Oh, her mom.
yeah,
And her
exactly.
mom seemed intense too. I was like, dang, everybody's mom and parents are like, okay, but like you're dating all these other people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I just don't it was wild. But Rachel's overall day, I mean, I don't know. I think we've all seen spoilers now, especially with everything coming out about Rachel. Like,
And then Matt yesterday released his statement.
yeah, which supposedly, like spoiler alert, they supposedly end up together. Well, he still
Yeah.
can pick someone else on the final one, I guess. But
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe he'll pick Michelle because he posted that Instagram.
yeah,
Somebody noticed it where he
yeah.
was like, oh, be better late than never. And it was of Michelle.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So like I mean clearly we go through it, but we think he picks Rachel, which I think they do have a good connection, blah blah blah. They seem like they like each other a lot. And then we
Yeah.
move on to Serena's date. Let's move or Breeze before, but let's just go Serena next. Serena's from Canada and
The
that
hockey.
yeah, that whole Canada thing, and then which I think she did more of like a hometown date more than anyone else. Like she kind of did it like actually hometown thing, but
Yeah.
then her whole parent situation was just wild. I mean, her sister was just basically like, "Yeah, you don't love him, you don't like him." Serena then was
Yeah.
just like, "Yeah, I've been feeling like that. I guess I really don't like him." Like,
Which I'm like, why are you on the show?
well,
Like,
didn't all these girls get mad at all these other people and Heather and everyone saying, "Why are you here? Why are you here if you don't love him? Why are you here if you're not gonna marry him?"
yeah,
And then Serena makes it to the final four?
I know. And I just the whole time they were on that date, I just did not feel a connection. So it kind of
No.
blew my mind that Matt was even like upset.
He was so upset, which I was just about to say that, like, when he was, like, crying, he's like, "This is so tough," and then Chris Harrison said the whole thing about, like, if you want her, you have to go fight for her. I thought that was just, like, a ploy kinda thing, like, "Oh, like, yeah, let's build it up. We all know she was maybe gonna be the one going home." And then he starts, like, he's in the car crying, he's talking to the camera one-on-one crying. I was like, "Yo, does he actually, like, really, really like her?" Like,
Yeah, it makes me think I'm like, are they just cutting out all the good scenes of her being a decent person? Because every time I watch it, I don't think they get along.
no, I think you, and Ryan last week were talking,
Yeah,
like, Kit
they're one
definitely
on
would've
one.
yeah, like, Kit definitely would have won if well, it was so awkward, remember? It's like, she's not affectionate, she's not this, she's not that, boom, she gets the rose, and it's like, okay, like, do they talk more? They just don't show that part? Because, like, you were like, I just don't see the connection whatsoever.
I don't either. I really don't. And I just am kind of like, does he just not like when people tell him no?
Yeah,
And
that could
he's
be
totally fine telling them no.
like, that could be the thing of, like, yeah, you were going home anyways, but fuck, I thought I was gonna be able to send you home, and then she was just like, "Nah, I don't love you," and then he was like, "Oh," like, when she
Yeah,
said that
he
though
was.
when
The
she said that
silence. I was
ye
like, oh.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, I was like, "Oh, okay, like, damn." But, I mean, I don't know, like, I feel like if Kit didn't send herself home, she was gonna be picked over Serena.
Right. I know. I
So,
know. I
it's
just that yeah, that whole thing doesn't really add up to me. I'm kind of like, Matt, okay, like what are I just can't predict what he's thinking anymore. Like I thought
no.
the date with Bree and Michelle went really well, but it seems to me like he almost enjoyed the ones with Rachel and whatever Serena.
Oh, I
But I'm
would agree. I think Brie and Michelle's dates in terms of, like, them connecting and everything looked way smoother and way better than Rachel or Serena's, but then it seemed like he was, like, more upset about Rachel's and Serena's than like, it just
yeah,
but I just don't understand, like, he was, like I feel like we see him, like, kinda play, like, the emotional card a lot this season. Like, he was crying. I was like, "Yo," like, he's
I
I
know. And I'm like, what am I missing? Because like watching that whole scene, I was like, I just don't see this connection. I don't even think he was connected. Like,
No,
I
that's what
don't
I'm
know.
saying. I don't think he really, like, was that into her, and then I think after the one-on-one they had the last weekend when he was, like they did the yoga thing, like, after that, I thought that was even worse than this week, and I was like, "Dude, there's no way they like each other." Like
Yeah, and like I just don't. He's so hard to read. I'm kind of
mhm.
like, okay, Matt. Like, what are we just? It's like you're saying, like how you said last week, how he just does such a good job of making all the girls feel like loved. Like
Yeah, yeah.
he kind of does the same thing to us, where the viewers, we're all like thinking he likes these people, but in reality, he
Or
doesn't, or he does. I don't know.
or maybe he just knows that, like, he's probably not gonna get married, so he wants to keep all options open. So, he's just
Yeah,
like, "Well, if I cry and then I'm like, eh, me and Rachel didn't work out, Serena, we can maybe hang out a little
true.
bit." Like, he's
Just
the
date.
one exactly. They're leaving on bad terms with him, so he, like, basically has all the cards if they ever, like, rekindle the flame.
Right.
But then, like, Serena never basically said, "I was in love with you," but that all kinda stuff, she's never really opened up. When he was, like, sitting there like, "I'm afraid all the other girls feel the same way," I'm like, "Matt, these chicks are crying over you, literally telling you that they are so in love with you." The other 3, Bree, Michelle, and Rachel have all done that, like, come on,
Yes. They
like
all told him, and that's kind of like how it's supposed to go, I think, is they're supposed to kind of tell him how they feel after the hometown so that he has
right,
an idea because they're all about to go, bang the
right, ex yeah,
fantasies.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
which also, did you see the preview for like the next, well, whenever we catch up with them all again at the fantasy suites, like Rachel's like doesn't seem like she can do it, like knowing
Yeah, and
he's
then
hooking
he
up with
and
girls.
then I have noticed this though, they do a great job of clipping certain things, but it's not
Yeah,
actually the same thing. So, like, Matt could be sitting outside talking to Chris Harrison when he's like, "I don't know if I can do this anymore," but it showed Rachel before, but it could have been that something that happened with him and Brie, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so, like, they do a
true.
great job of clipping it, so, like, they make it seem like and my thing is like, we kind of know. I mean, maybe we don't, but, like, I think we know that Rachel wins. So I think they wanna build it up like Rachel's going home or she can't do it. But she was saying, it's kinda like Madison of last year of like, "I can't do this. He's in the room with another girl." It's just like, dude, guys, I know it's probably hard. You probably do like the person, but, like, it got like, you're on The Bachelor. Like
Exactly. It's like you've seen this, haven't you? Like this is how it goes every season.
yeah,
Bang bang.
exactly.
like,
Exactly. Like,
like
I
you should
mean
know.
exactly. Pilot Pete picked one girl literally just so he could bang her. He had no intentions of
I know.
picking her to win. So, but let's move on. Bree's hometown date, like you said, I thought went very well. They went like off-roading, had a picnic, and then her family, it was what her best friend and mom, right? And then her baby sister.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
I liked her mom. Her mom seemed really cool and like just kind of like was able to talk to everyone and like I thought that went well.
I did too. And I thought that she could be a good I thought that her and Michelle should be the top two, but I think I'm probably wrong
I gotta
in
say,
terms of what
I was never too high on Brie. I just think we didn't see enough. Like we saw her on like either that first one-on-one date or the second one-on-one date. And we're like, oh, they have a good connection. And then we didn't really see her at all after that. So it was kind of like, all
right.
right, what's going on here? Like, does he like her? But I
Yeah.
think like this episode kind of showed like, damn, she's cool. Like, I think he does really like her. Like it showed more of them. Like you were able to see everyone one-on-one in this one, which is like a huge thing because we haven't been able to see that. So I
Right.
think him and Brie have a very good relationship. But I when he so when they showed up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's just us 3, so we're gonna get picked." In my head, I was like, "Whoever gets the 3rd rose is definitely gonna complain about it." I just know whoever it
Yeah.
is, and what happens? Brie gets the 3rd rose, and she's like, "I do kinda have a problem with me getting the 3rd rose." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yo,"
she's
like
like, "Was I the last pick or was"
yeah, exactly. So,
and I
overall,
wonder
good
if
episode.
that is true though. I'm like, maybe she is his last place, which just once again, I'm like, I can't really read that.
Yeah, exactly, like, who knows? Maybe he's in 1st place, or maybe it is 1, 2, 3, like, who the
Yeah,
hell
true. I
knows?
know. Maybe they did it on purpose to like mix it up. But it will be
Yeah.
interesting to see what happens in the fantasy suites because
I think all 3 girls are putting out.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think
It would just make sense.
Serena was the only wild card, and she's gone. So I think all 3 girls, maybe that's why all of them are crying because they all fucking know that all 3 are
And then they
gonna
find out, like, oh my god, you just did it too.
yeah, right, and
He's
and
probably
then
like, like
that's what's so
3 day in a row.
funny. That's, like, what's so funny is, like, if the 3rd girl finds out that the first 2 did it, she was crying over the first 2, but then she goes and does it. So it's like, come on, like,
Right.
but
I
then
know. Like at that point, it's like, is he picking them based on like how they are in the bedroom?
yeah, right, exactly.
Like
Like,
if he did that, you really gotta factor this in.
what if he does go into it and he's like, "No, like, it's Michelle, Brie, Rachel. Rachel's number 3," and then he, like, hooks up with all 3, and he's like, "Michelle sucked. Brie was okay. Rachel was insane, so it's Rachel." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I could see it.
no, I think you gotta kinda think like that because, like, let's be honest, like, if you're gonna get married and stuff, like, Matt's a bachelor. Literally, he is the bachelor, but he's a like, I think bad sex would have a very strong pull on his
I
judgment.
agree. Totally agree.
So, but then next week, so there will not be an actual episode, but I think this might be the most interesting episode of the year. All the girls come back.
Oh yeah. Claws are coming out.
Yeah, because this is like the whole thing of like, so with this isn't live, but they taped it like how long ago? Or is it live?
I think it was like it's like the most recent thing they taped, but it wasn't live because I know Chris Harrison's the
That's right.
host and he's like stepping away.
That's
So I
right.
think it was like from a month or two ago that they recorded it. But I totally forgot about what's her name? Victoria.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But my
I'm like,
thing
wait,
was is
how did I
like, imagine if it was how long ago I think makes a huge it affects it a lot because it's like if it was very recent, then these girls saw everything. If it was like somewhat recent, they might have only saw some of it. But like you said, claws are coming off. I think these girls are going into it like I do not care because maybe I saw some of these things and I'm letting it just rip. Like I'm letting go.
right, that's a good point. Should I look it up? I'm gonna
Yeah,
look it
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. And then to your point of Victoria, yeah, she had that little scene and she's like, I was only being rude because I was going through things. It's like, no, that is your personality.
Yeah, seriously. It is her personality. And I can't wait to see them all like kind of attack her.
Oh, like, they definitely probably went back and were like, "Oh, wow, we really messed up sticking up for Victoria and that other girl, so we're gonna take a complete
And
180."
I know. And did you see that they're gonna address the whole thing with like Brittany and Anna?
Yeah, and then, like, Anna must have said something because Chris Harrison was like, "You said she was basically an escort." Like, that's all you heard of it, so it's like she must have tried to continue to cover it up or whatever, and, like, Chris Harrison's
And
gonna
Chris
drop the
is like,
ball, like
bitch."
yeah, so Chris Harrison it'll be funny to watch her talk for another episode. Her
Yeah.
just
I think
annoying
they have
voice.
so I think from what I'm reading, they have to have seen some of it, if not well, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
3
trying to
weeks
think
ago, they probably saw most of the stuff in terms of, like, all the
that
wild
they were
shit.
involved in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I bet they've seen most of it, and I think that's what I'm saying is, like, I think, like, someone who, like, maybe, like, a Kit who was kinda, like, in the middle, like, didn't really care, was kind of a bitch, sometimes not a bitch. Maybe
Yeah.
she saw everything and was like, "Well, fuck that. Actually, I'm gonna go after Victoria too."
Yeah.
And
I
then they
know.
had that little snippet with Serena where she basically I don't know, they played it off like she kinda said she liked him again, who knows, they could have just clipped it very well, but, like,
Yeah.
I would you be shocked if she would've just been like, "Yeah, I made a mistake?"
Yeah. I mean, I feel like she would say that, but I don't know if he Do you think he would take her back?
No, 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 no. Well, see, that's why timing is so crazy in this because what if he's like in the suites with these 3 other girls and then he's meeting with these other girls?
Good point.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
oh yeah, I totally wait. Yeah, he goes to the women tell all, doesn't he?
Yeah, and everyone's there but the 3 that are in the final 3. So, like, I think it would have to have happened well, I guess in terms of when they filmed it, but, like, is he still technically, like, dating the other 3 in the suites, and he goes to this? Because he has a really long beard in this.
Wait, that is such a good question. No, honestly, I don't know.
Or
I
you
don't.
think it's after, but
I'm guessing, that it was probably like a month or so ago. Like I think they have to have seen some of it, and maybe they just tell the three girls they can't go on it because
yeah,
I think they bring them out in the last one, the very finale.
right, right, right. Yeah, that would make sense because like, filming has probably been done for a little bit, this wasn't, like, October, November, so I bet they did it. Yeah, that would make sense then.
In like January. You know what? That's a good question though, because now I'm like the timing does matter. But if he had that beard, I feel like it has to have been like in the last couple of weeks.
That's what I'm saying, like, he doesn't like, I've seen little videos of him, like, out and about, and every time he has that beard, so it's like that
Yeah,
had to have been kind of recent.
right. And he was, you know what? Like when I was looking at his Instagram story, like maybe a couple, like maybe 1 to 2 weeks ago, he was in LA.
Okay, that would make sense.
And it was before. Well, I don't know if he lives there though. I don't know what his like schedule is because
Who
I know
knows?
he says he's from New York, but then he
Yeah,
goes to Florida all the time with what's his name,
yeah,
Jersey.
well, I was just about to say something, what was I gonna say? Wow, totally forgot what blanked on what I
It's
was gonna
okay.
say.
I swear to God, it's because it's one of those days I'm like dragging on my
I
thought.
know, I totally just forgot what I was gonna say, but alright.
Oh, you know what I haven't seen? This is like kind of unrelated, but you know how you said a few weeks ago that like Tyler C like may have fallen in love with one of the girls.
Yes.
Well, on TikTok, I keep seeing these random girls post of how they're seeing Tyler C like walking around like LA or wherever with some girl. And I keep trying to look from behind. I'm like, do I recognize that body? Like you never see her face, but it's always like from behind. But it's definitely not somebody like Kit who's like short and blonde. It's like somebody kind of taller and like thicker with like dark with like brown hair. And I'm like, ooh, maybe
Uh,
that wasn't. I don't think that was anyone on, unless it was no.
Mari,
Oh, maybe.
but she'd be the only one, and I feel like she wasn't there when TC went there. Maybe he was
Right.
there earlier than we thought though, but, you
It'd be
know.
interesting to see. I'm gonna have to do some digging on that because I need to know who he's
Yeah,
dating.
I know, that would be interesting if like, because it would also be interesting just to see, like, who was it from this season, see how they
Right.
reacted to the season.
Oh,
For all we know, he could have been there the whole damn time,
true.
like
I know. He
like
probably did have to quarantine for a while, so he may have
that's
been.
what I'm saying. I bet he was there a lot longer than what we thought. But oh, that's what I was gonna say was so what was wild is like almost like a month ago, if not a little longer, supposedly people saw Rachel in or no, this was like I want to say like the same week or a week before everything came out about Rachel. Supposedly they saw Rachel and Matt out to eat in New York,
Oh.
which is means that they were actually still dating. And then like this all this stuff coming out was like probably like they broke up because of it.
Yeah. Well, I legitimately heard, and this is probably a spoiler alert, but like I like read yesterday that I think they broke up like this within this like past week
This
or so.
that's what I'm saying, like very, very recent. Like,
Yeah, and like because then he released that statement about it and was
yeah,
kind of like, it didn't really sound like he was standing up for her at all, but it also didn't seem like he was
no.
like really getting that mad at her. I don't know.
Like what I mean, what I here's how I kind of think of when I read that was like either one, this is kind of like his way to get out of it. Like he did like her, but just a lot of red flags. Maybe he didn't see all of them when he was talking to her. Now he's just like perfect opportunity to get out. Like whatever, no blood on anyone's hands. We're good. Or like they break up, not publicity, but like I think they may find their way back to each other. Like
Yeah.
let's let it cool down, let everyone say what they need. You just shut up and only like not say anything on, you know, social media like you have been. Let's let all
Yeah.
the fire just pass. Cause like if they stay together and do their little like tour on every social platform, you know how much shit everyone slash maybe Good Morning America, like all those places probably won't even let them come on.
Yeah, I know. I don't think they would.
That's what I'm saying. So
I just
like, or does
yeah,
like does he pick like Michelle that like
I know. I know. I can't wait to see because like he could pull a total 180 like Peter did.
but, like, I think but these girls would know now. You know, where, like, the Peter season, Hannah Ann didn't know that Maddie said no, he just told Hannah Ann that, like, she went home.
True.
Like, these girls will know that, like, he left her because of everything came out, so, like, would Michelle just be like, "Yeah, I take you then?"
Oh my gosh, good point. That is such a good point that I didn't even think about.
Like, the
I
whole
mean,
Hannah Ann situation was allowed to happen because she was blindsided and thought, uh, Maddie took herself out of the running when it was
right.
really, like, that's he proposed to
Pete
her and
was
she said
still
no.
such a dick for that.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah. I was, like, watching, like, you think this chick's never gonna find out about this? Like
he was such an idiot. Oh my gosh, the stupidest bachelor I think they've ever had.
yeah, he was really bad. But to then this season where it's like, I don't know about you, I think it's definitely between Michelle and Rachel, and, like,
Yeah, I do too.
it's I mean, Michelle will know that, like, he broke up with her, but that he picked her over her, so it's like, do you wanna go to that then? Like
I know, and it's like, could this be a situation where kind of like what happened with Hannah Brown, like she ends up alone, like he ends up alone too.
yeah, no, I could definitely see that. Like, right now, especially, like, hearing all the rumors about, like, how he picked Rachel, like, I think it's the odds are higher that he ends up alone, or the odds are more in favor of him ending up alone than they are him actually being with someone.
Yeah, I agree. And which would totally suck because like everyone was so hyped that he'd like never been on the show before. He was the
Mhm,
first black like guy bachelor and like
mhm.
it was and then he didn't even end up with anyone because of racist things. Like
Literally, like, it was, like, probably the wildest thing is the first black bachelor picks someone and they break up because of racist, like, just
I know. And
can't
like
even
that's not something that the bachelor could have orchestrated because they never would have done that because it would just like ruin their brand.
no, that would be the worst possible thing for them, you know? Like, that would just
Yeah.
be the dumbest thing for them. It's but yeah, to your point, like, everyone I think people I don't know about now because I think people are kinda getting a little sick of his antics a little bit, but, like, everyone was very excited to see people who have never been on the show before. Like,
Yeah.
I think they were very excited to see how someone handles it, and, like, I do think if you haven't been on the show before, like, you go into it like, "I don't know what to do," because, like, I don't know all the producers telling me how to do these things. Like, I'm not used to this or that. Like, I'm just going in nilly-willy and doing whatever the hell I want, which he has
Right.
been, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting next week to see how he talks to everyone because, like we've said, is he knows how to make every girl feel like they're gonna be picked. Now they're all gonna be in front of his face right there. So, like
I know. And I'm interested to see like what they'll have to say about the whole situation or if they're just not going to say anything.
right, right. But, you know, or like Serena, what if she's like, "Would you have picked Kit over me? I
Yeah.
heard I
I
saw
would
what
ask
you
that if I were her 100%.
I saw what you and Kit were talking about, like, blah, blah, you know, like, all that, like, it's just, like it'd be interesting because Matt knows how to talk to women one-on-one, like, that has been evident every show, and now in
True.
the now but it's always crazy because when they come back to the group, it's like all the girls forget that he has probably said it to every single one of them, and they all just, like, look at his eyes and fall in love again. Now it's
I know.
like they're none of them were picked, so they can let the brakes off and say whatever the fuck they want, and
Yeah.
I think that'll be awesome.
And like how Piper's going to react or like Victoria, like how any of the girls that literally hit him with that sassy last word,
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
I forgot
That'd be
Piper
interesting to see.
I forgot Piper was a huge bitch when she left.
I know. I couldn't
Yeah.
stand her.
Yeah, she did kinda yeah, but yeah, because those girls are probably gonna be very vocal in this, like
I know. I'm excited.
no, I know, this is like I said, this might like, we talked about how this is just the craziest group of women who have ever been on this show. We have not seen a show like this. I think bringing them all in together, like, they might have normally done this after the suites, but, like, they're probably just like, "Look, this is too crazy, like, let's just get this out of there, and
Yeah,
then
we
we'll"
need to just get it out of the way, like, let
Yeah,
them, battle it
exactly.
out.
Yeah, so but yeah, like, this is gonna be super interesting. I hope a lot comes out. I hope they don't just kinda, like, fold and, like, kinda just, like I hope some of them call Matt on his
Yeah,
bullshit too.
I do too. And also I think of I so, like, this week, I feel like we don't have as much exciting stuff to share other than, like, Rachel falling out of the, sky.
Yeah, it was
But
very mellow
I
of an episode.
yeah, it's like the calm before the storm that's coming.
Yes.
There's just so many questions I have about the finale too, like, who's gonna be the host? Like, if it's not gonna be Chris Harrison, since he always does the live, like, I don't know who it's gonna be.
But also, I think the host in the final, especially if they're not together, is such a crucial role of asking the questions. And like, yes, Chris Harrison,
Yes.
I get it, is not going to be it, but like nobody else who could step in was there at all. So like, yeah, we see what's on TV, but
Right.
there is so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we have no clue about that like Chris Harrison knows all.
And he kind of like has formulated these like kind of connections with them too. So like they're more comfortable answering these questions to him.
100%. So, like, that I think that dynamic of the final episode will be very like, crazy to watch.
Yeah. Like I'm guessing they're probably gonna bring in like a Bachelor, alum, like somebody who was on it. But I'm like, what if it's Tyler C?
That would be a good one.
That would be a good one. I'm
But
kind of like,
you'd have to
should I
tell
recommend it?
you'd have to tell Tyler just to be like, "Yo, you gotta grill your boy," like, like
Yeah.
but
Be
he'd be
like
good.
very,
He'd be good. I've been hearing Rachel, Lindsay, and
oh yeah.
who's the chick that filled in for Claire?
Oh, Tasha.
Tasha. I'm hearing either Rachel or Tasha.
That makes sense. You know what? I could see that being
Yeah.
either one.
Rachel's very vocal. I think she could be good because the one thing I will say is like if it is Rachel Lindsay, I think it could be good because I do think she would grill the women or Matt just because I think like she's very outspoken and doesn't give a shit. So like
Yeah.
in that
And I think we
aspect,
like
yes, exact 100%. So like I think that could be a good one.
I kind of hope it's her now. You're right though. That would make the most sense. They would definitely they wouldn't do like a white,
Male, yeah,
male.
right now, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. So, but yeah, I think these last three, I honestly think maybe the least exciting will be the sweets. Like, I think like
Yeah, I
with
know.
everything
We'll see like the bubble
happening,
bath situation, but that'll be it.
yeah, right, right. To see like a girl cry once they just figured out 12 weeks in
Yeah,
that he's gonna hook up with someone else, like,
right. Like they just forget that he's gonna do that.
yeah, for 12 weeks they forget, and then they just realize when they're sitting in a suite by themselves, like that'll be a little, interesting and stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, these two live shows will be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm like excited and kind of nervous. I think they'll definitely get the most views too. This live show
Yes,
will be the most watched of the whole season,
I
maybe a
would,
whole year.
I would have to agree with that for
Yeah,
sure. But other Bachelor news quickly: Claire and Dale are back together supposedly.
I
So
saw. So
yeah,
surprised. She probably saw that ad for like, if you're a senior looking for love, Bachelor seniors.
yeah, right.
She was like, shit, I should call him.
I'm only 4 years removed from being a Bachelor senior.
Right? She's like, I can't go back on this show
Yeah, right.
to work.
But I mean, that's not shocking. I bet he just wanted to have a little fun, and then he's like, "All right, now I'll settle down."
And I also heard that Pete and whatever her name was, Kelly.
Yeah, supposedly they got back over the Super Bowl. They were both in Tampa, and Victoria. Which one's the blonde? Victoria P.
Yes. Or
Victoria.
Victoria F.
No, Victoria P. Victoria F is the one that made it to Sweets.
Oh, you're right. The bad. There's like a dark haired one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but Victoria
Yeah,
P.
right.
Victoria P. I guess like was with them, and isn't that so weird? Like, hey, I'm gonna help
Yes.
you two get back together. Yet we both dated him for 6 weeks.
and I like was falling in love with him too.
Yeah, like I feel
I
like
would
that.
be like, I can't trust you.
Yeah, like I feel like that's so weird. Like I get the whole like Madison, Victoria, F, and Hannah and all them are friends, but they all hate Pete. So it's like,
Yeah. I don't know why everyone doesn't hate Pete on that
y-
season.
yeah, that's very true. So
He's just such an idiot. But yeah, well, women are, I guess. Sometimes
yeah, right. I mean, men are so dumb, but if you allow them to do these things, they'll just
right.
keep doing it. So
Shame on them.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But all right, we'll be back next week. Next week is a very interesting episode. I think next week we will have a shit ton to talk about. So
Lots of tea. We're gonna have
yeah,
hella tea next week.
yes. So all right. Wait. Before we go, I wanted you to rank all four parents slash families 1 through 4, one being the best.
Ooh, okay. That's a good one. So one, I'm gonna have to go with Bree's mom. I really liked her.
Okay.
Thought she was wholesome. Two, just because I thought she was a savage, was Serena's
Sister.
like mom and sister. Like they were
Her
just savages. They
Serena's mom, I thought was her sister for the like for a little bit. Like she looked
were
super young.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I guess Serena was only 22, so
Yeah, she could be pretty young.
yeah. And
Okay, so
then I think I liked Michelle's family just because they were like wholesome. And then Rachel's like her parents weren't, there was like nothing like wrong with them, but they weren't my favorite.
I feel like you have to go with them at 4 too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be PC.
Yeah. I would go the same, except for I would switch Michelle and Breeze. I would put Michelle at
Yeah.
2. I think if we would have seen more of Michelle, I think Michelle's was so boring in terms of to the producers that we didn't see as much, but I think they were probably in terms of just parents to hang out with, the coolest to hang out with. But
Yeah. Because her dad seemed really nice. Like he just seems so,
exactly.
yeah.
And they were playing basketball, like they seemed like, like just cool people. So, but
Yeah.
I did like Bree's parents too. So I would go Bree, Michelle, Serena, and then Rachel. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Well, we'll see you guys next week. This will be an interesting
Yeah. Interesting
situation.
episode, to say the least. Peace.